So you want to keep your current clients, but they aren't renewing. Why not? In today's video, I'm going to break down what it looks like when a client doesn't renew, why, and what you can do to fix it. So if clients are leaving and they don't seem to want to renew with you or continue, that's not good for business. One of the highest costs in business is for you to acquire a new customer and not yet retain your existing customer. So I want to give you some tips to help put you in a position to keep your customers longer. The first tip is to provide personalized customer experiences. Now, we live in a world where personalization is really important to customers. They want to feel seen and heard, and they want to know that they matter. They don't want to feel like a cog in the wheel. Now, as business owners, it can be challenging because when you're growing and scaling and you are helping a lot of people, it can be hard to find ways to create a personalized experience as you ramp up. So this is definitely a friction point. Now, examples of how you can create a more personalized experience would be in the onboarding process, meaning when someone purchases your product or service right from the beginning, you have a clearly laid out step-by-step process of how you onboard them into your program, your product, or your service. Make them feel comfortable, have them know what to expect. Make sure that that onboarding experience is comprehensive. And that's actually a really good way to personalize their experience. You have to set the expectations. And this is where I see a lot of clinicians fail, is they don't spend a lot of time in the onboarding process. They don't set the expectations. And then their client that's purchased the service with them doesn't really feel motivated to stick around because they don't know what to expect. So if you practice expectation setting and you lay that down from the beginning, you'll have a better chance of retaining your client. The second example would be your delivery of service, meaning how you're able to provide the product or service that they have purchased. So ideally, as you mature as a business owner, you've critically thought about your program, and that could be your course, membership, your coaching, whatever you're selling. You've thought about, when do people drop off? If you've got an 8-week program, is it at week 6? If you have a year-long program, is it at month 8? When typically do people start to kind of step back and not engage as much? And if you're aware of when this happens, then you can start to come in and provide some, opportunities to try to get them back and try to make sure that you're aware that this happens at a certain stage, and then try to attract and re-engage those customers. Now, examples could be metrics in place, checkpoints. You can even offer calls to those particular clients at that time to try to re-engage them and get them excited again about the program and find out what they're struggling with if they do have struggles that they haven't expressed verbally. It's really important to implement a customer service feedback loop. That means a customer support email that has clear expectations of when you're going to reply, for example, within 24 business hours. Also, you want to make it aware when they can reach out and why. What are the examples they would reach out and what would that look like? Again, expectation setting. You want to build trust. So if and when you make a mistake, because we all do, we're humans, you can acknowledge it. For example, we've had some tech issues. We had the wrong Zoom link and some issues with having clients log on at the right time was delayed a little bit because we had some technology snafus. And we admitted that, we made a mistake, we're sorry, and how can we make that amendment? And then we do our best to move on because those things do happen, but we also are human and we want to acknowledge that those mistakes are our responsibility. The last, probably unexpected tip when it comes to how to retain clients would be to differentiate your service. So if what you offer, service or product, course, membership, digital download, I don't care what it is you're offering, if it's coaching or group programming, or if you're at a group practice, if your service or product, what you sell, is not different from anybody else, you're going to have a really hard time retaining clients, because clients are going to feel like, why would I stay with you if I could just go to the next guy or the next person, because what you do isn't unique. And that's why spending time developing your program and getting feedback and making improvements is so important when it comes to retention. So you stop losing clients by prioritizing customer service. And this was a lesson that was a little harder for me to learn because I didn't realize just how important customer service was. Now, this could be a person or a role. So it doesn't mean you have to go hire somebody right away, although as you scale, you probably will need to hire somebody in that role. But what you will need are processes, examples of how to handle situations, what that looks like, escalation measures in place, a lot of controls. And somebody will need to manage the person that is in that customer service role to make sure that the checks and balances are being met and that you're offering a standardized service. And this is where things can feel a little congested. And it's going to require a new skill set that you might not have been able to use before when it comes to to management and processes. And that's an indication of you maturing as a business owner, and that's exciting, and it will help you when it comes to client retention. Now for us, one of the things we do is feedback calls. So we send surveys, and if somebody is feeling disgruntled or unhappy or they're having a conflict, we will directly hop on a call and see how we can support them and what we can do. And that's an example of what you might be able to do to improve your customer service. Now, and that's, again, if you don't have any processes though, you probably want to start with writing some processes, some simple scenarios of what are common questions that people are reaching out about and how can you handle them in a standardized way. You also want to use email marketing to stay in touch, sending regular emails and letting people know about the program and keeping them top of mind. And you want to send special emails to people who are your paying customers, separate from emails that you send for email marketing, which is a whole different topic. So for example, if you've got a membership, you can send a weekly roundup. If you've got a group program, you're reminding them of the dates that they need to be aware of when it comes to the programming and the calls that you're offering. Survey customers. It's really important to make sure that you have a mechanism. It can be simple. And we use surveying, and we teach you how to survey your clients in our programs as well. And you want to ask them some like card questions. You also want to use a Net Promoter Score, which is a standard satisfaction score when it comes to happiness from customers. And you want to see, how do you fall within the spectrum? Are people happy? Are they unhappy? Why? What can you do to improve it? And if you prioritize customer service as a way for you to improve your experience, then you'll have a better chance of retaining clients. You also don't want to ignore messages on social media. Now, even though as a business like ours, I'm sure you tell people that they have to email support instead of social media, but if you do get messages, you want to make sure to have a loop or a system where you're taking and relaying those messages back to your team and to your support staff or person so that they're properly handled through the right channels at the right time. Finally, how do you win back a customer? So they've decided to leave despite your efforts, and you're feeling pretty upset about it, but keep in mind this is business. You can't keep everybody. So what do you do to win them back? And is that even possible? And it absolutely is. Firstly, you want to measure your successes and your failures and spend some time reflecting on what it is that you can improve. Now, I've given you a whole laundry list above of things that you might be able to look into, from processes to systems to feedback loops in your business. And if you don't have any of those yet, you can start there and think, what can I do to improve my existing system? Or what system is lacking? Or what system do I need to build? And what checks and balances do I need to have in place better? And if you start there, that's a good place to reflect. You can also reflect on your successes. When have people been happy and why? What did you do, or what did your team do to help get them to feel that way? And how can you replicate that level of success to try to lean more towards a positive experience as a brand? Developing a win-back strategy includes you showing your values. And you also want to talk about how you can improve. So it's okay to publicly announce some of the things that you're working on. For example, I've been very open and transparent about making some hires that weren't the right fits. I've made mistakes with hiring people I hired them too fast in the business. I took too long to fire people, and it caused a little bit of chaos in terms of systems and back-end processes in my business. And I've written about that in Forbes. I've talked about that in different videos and podcast episodes. And I want to be transparent about what my struggles have been in scaling this business. And I also want to be very transparent about the milestones that we've hit. We've helped over 1,000 dietitians start, grow, and scale their business in an industry where dietitians are underpaid, where not many of them are in private practice, and where cash pay is still a foreign concept. So where we do have room for improvement here in this business, and I want you to reflect on how you can improve, you also want to equally talk about the successes that you've had, because at the end of the day, we're all humans trying to get better. And the more you can talk about your values and how your business is unique, the more you're going to attract the types of people that are going to be, attracted to what you represent. Because at the end of the day, we can't help everybody. But for those that we can help, we want to find a way to win them back in an honest and authentic way. If you found this video helpful, you might be wondering, is it worth it to become a dietitian? And if you're wondering that, I want you to check out this next video on the screen. And if you're interested in working with us here at Dietitian Boss, I want you to find the link below and apply.